Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and busts. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, dozens of arrests in New York City at the Hilton Hotel in Tribeca. And it was after ICE had to deal with a whole bunch of headaches. Once again, what happened was these anti-ICE protesters showed up at the hotel, said, hey, I understand ICE agents are staying here. And then they would not leave. They were all dressed up in pretty similar T-shirts with similar messages, pre-produced signs. Sure sounds like they got some financial backing. It doesn't sound like some organic protest. And finally, luckily, the NYPD arrested them for being unruly and destroying property there. So thank goodness that happened. And guess what the unit was that actually did the busting? It was the Strategic Response Group. It's the same group that Zohran Mamdani said that he wants to delete from the NYPD. It's the same one that responds to protests all the time. That's why they're so good. That's why they're called the Strategic Response Group. These guys and gals are the best of the best. They're the ones that respond to when there was that mass shooter in Midtown New York City. It was that group that responded. Whenever there are unruly protests, it's that group that responds. And Zohran Mamdani, during the campaign, the mayor of New York, now the mayor, of course, he said this before, during, and after becoming mayor. He has come out and said that he wants to get rid of this group because he feels this group is infringing on protesters' rights. Thank goodness for the Strategic Response Group that they showed up at the Hilton last night and were able to put these thugs in handcuffs, because that's what they are. You don't show up at a hotel anywhere in this country and say, get out of here, ICE. And they were equating ICE to KKK. They were chanting. It was really scary. What about people that were staying at that hotel? What about neighbors? What about people who worked at the hotel? It's absolutely not free speech. That's not a peaceful protest across the street, talking about workers' rights or talking about whatever. No, that is crossing the line. They took over the lobby, were destroying things, shouting vile, virulent things, and terrifying people inside that hotel and outside. So I'm happy to say that at least 70 of them get arrested, but I want to find out who bails them out. Won't that be interesting, guys? That's a big question that we talk about here on the Rita Cosby Show. Who is funding these people and who might bail them out? Remember, during the, quote, Summer of Love, it was Kamala Harris, remember, who said, donate to the Minnesota Freedom Fund, which were the protesters in Minneapolis that helped burn that city to the ground, including the police station. So will people like Kamala Harris donate to bail out these guys who are like taking over the Hilton Hotel in New York? Well, listen to Zohran Mamdani, because this was interesting. He puts out a statement today, and in it, he praises, quote, the peaceful protesters, like they were singing, Mary Poppins while they were there. And then he kind of takes issue and he says, I also want to thank the NYPD essentially for not becoming violent. That's my paraphrase. But in other words, thank you for these beautiful, peaceful protests. And thank you, NYPD, for not crossing the line like you always do. That's how I read it. And that's how a lot of people read it. Shame on Zohran Mamdani. And I'm really worried when the weather gets warmer, because it's freezing cold in New York like it is in Minneapolis. And he's only become mayor now, it's only been, it's not even been a month, because it was the beginning of this month. It's getting close to a month. But wait till the protests really start heating up. Wait till the protests really start getting out of control like we saw, especially in the summer months as things warm up. then we'll really see the test of mettle of this guy. We've already seen some things, and it doesn't look good because it's interesting. What is the future of the Strategic Response Group, who he should be praising left and right? They're the best of the best, and thank goodness we have it. But crazy mayors don't just, they're not exclusive just to New York. Take the windy city of Chicago, and boy, is this frightening rhetoric. You have to hear this. This is coming from Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, who has talked about the fact that they have about 40 different lawsuits right now, 40 lawsuits against the Trump administration and ICE. And here is what he said today about how far they will go against ICE. Listen, this is a sitting mayor.
It's unfortunate that Greg Bovino's, that his legacy will take time for people to understand how nasty of an individual he really is. It's powerful that we have been able to effectively push back at local levels as well as in the courts around Gregory Bovino's activities. His dressing, his whole package, it is so familiar that I believe that it was blinding for some people. That it's clear, there's two things. One, it's clear that the far right in this country, that they have not accepted the results of the Civil War, and that they have longed for a rematch to have a republic that subjugates and subjects individuals to a permanent lower class. And that, again, when we have witnessed the largest upward transfer of wealth in any other time in American history, there's your evidence of the type of stratification that the extreme right in this country prefers.
And then listen to this and the way he describes federal law enforcement. Again, a sitting mayor of Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, look, after what we've seen in the streets of this country, we have to seriously look at how local government can ultimately not just bring charges and investigation against the federal overreach, but how we can create a process that allows for prosecution of these individuals. On the streets across this country, federal agents are being directed by the Trump administration to shoot and kill. And my team is working overtime to locate measures that I can use through my executive authority to not just hold people accountable, but to ensure that there's a mechanism in which that can take place.
Shooting, they're getting directions to shoot and kill, like it's like the OK Corral. I think these people have lost their minds. Now, I found that bite from Zohran Mamdani. This is him talking about the Strategic Response Group that is the elite that responds to these protests that are probably going to get a lot worse in New York City.
I know on the campaign trail you talked about disbanding the SRG. Is that an inefficiency? Could you see disbanding it? I believe that it would save the city, if we didn't have the SRG, like over $100 million.
So I'll start with the second question and then go to the first. Yes, I continue to believe that we need to disband the SRG. And I'm currently in conversations with the police commissioner about the ways in which we can do so that are operational. And I believe that we should do so not on the basis of any fiscal need, but frankly on the need to decouple the counterterrorism responsibilities within the department from police response to First Amendment exercise.
If the SRG is disbanded, would it be replaced with a similar unit that does similar things that polices protest?
We don't believe that there should be a unit that has both counterterrorism responsibilities and responsibilities to responding to protests. The conflation of the two is part of this issue.
Given what you're you're saying, did you know that the SRG was going to be at this anti-ICE protest just a few blocks away from here last night? And are you concerned by that at all?
We know that until we deliver this in an operational manner, that the SRG will continue to be used. And that is why we are hard at work to resolving this issue.
No, that you don't. Given that their focus is counterterrorism, also that you don't want them at protests for now. Have you said that? Then why not?
The NYPD continues to respond to protests, as is their responsibility, and we have also emphasized the need for all of those responses, as always, to be ones that respect New Yorkers' exercising of First Amendment activity. And I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. And I think that to add that I also commend New Yorkers who exercise their constitutional right to protest, especially in bringing attention to the horrific abuses of ICE across this country. And I think especially right now in Minneapolis.
That's incredible. So he's still standing by getting rid of the SRG. I'll keep them until we can figure out separating. And then we'll just have you do some other unit will do the terrorism, the counterterrorism unit will do that. And then maybe we'll send, social workers to the protests, because protests never get out of hand. Right, Zohran Mamdani? 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Robert, line 1. Robert, thank you for your patience. And by the way, Robert, since we spoke, I looked at the video again. I stand corrected. I said he did not resist in the first case, that he was taken down. This is Alex Pretti. Because not only did he kick out the taillights, he was spitting at the agents and screaming at them. And he was aggressive when they tried to cuff him the first time. So I stand corrected. But that doesn't help your case. Go ahead.
Just one question. Did his rib break before he did the roundhouse kick, or was after the roundhouse kick his rib was broken?
Well, by the way, we don't know if his rib was broken. He told somebody. That's why we've been very careful to say there's a report that he told somebody his rib was broken, because some people who have a broken rib don't get out the next week like he did. And who knows how he is? Maybe he did it himself by resisting. I mean, if you look at have you seen the video of him resisting in the first case? He's not he's not a peaceful protester putting his hands behind his back. He's fighting it every step of the way. He's lucky he didn't get thrown. He didn't get thrown in the jail. He should have been arrested. Let me just tell you, Robert, when I look at that video, he should have been arrested for destroying property. They let him off too easy the first time, and then he came back for more.
Well, Rita, actually, the biggest argument, most Americans who saw the video, 66% say it was unjustified, the shooting. And unless you're extremely... And
by the way, I'm still not saying that the shooting was justified. We don't know that. And I've said that. I don't know. And you could do horrible things. I'm not saying he did in this case, but you could do horrible things, and it still doesn't justify ending up dead. So I'm not going to say that it's justified. That I won't say. I agree with President Trump that it needs to be investigated. What I do say is, when you look at this video, the first one, he clearly is extremely aggressive, spitting, screaming, kicking out the taillights of ICE vehicles, and he should have been arrested the first time. They were too nice to him the first time. You think you don't go around kicking a prop. You think if I go around and kick an ICE vehicle's taillights out, I would be lucky if I didn't spend the night in jail, because it's completely dangerous and inappropriate, and it says something about your behavior.
But Rita, one of the biggest arguments against the agents is the inconsistent behavior, because in the first case...
It's different agents. It's different agents. The first ones were ICE. The ones 11 days before were ICE. These were CBP.
No, Rita, 1 second. The inconsistent behavior, both on the January 24th when he was slaughtered, and on January 13th.
He wasn't slaughtered, but go ahead.
The inconsistent behavior is a huge proof that it was not justified, because even on first of all, they did not arrest him on the 13th, and they did not. He had a gun. It seems like he had a gun on the 13th, but They did not arrest him.
Yeah, because you know what? You know what, Robert? I hear what you're saying. We got to go to a hard break. But guess what? I think they let him off too easy on the 13th, and it was different agents that it happened with 11 days later. Again, it doesn't excuse what happened. We're going to see if it was justified or not. Let's see where it leads. We'll come back in a moment, guys.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
And some very feisty dialogue today with Marco Rubio on Capitol Hill about Venezuela. The Democrats were like, why are you going after those nice, sweet narco terrorists in the boats? It's just like, why are you arresting our neighbors, the murderers there in Minneapolis? 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Pat on line 1, New Jersey. Go ahead, Pat.
Hello, Rita. Rita, I know how you feel about our military and our police, and I feel the same way. And what's very scary is this person who's a nurse, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it in a VA hospital?
Yes.
And he was, and veterans were under his care? That scares me.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great point, Pat. If this guy, and yes, he was an ICU nurse, which is truly life and death if you're in ICU, you're right. This guy clearly has some anger management issues and clearly has a bias towards certain people over others.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Rita Cosby is on.
And speaking of music tonight here on the Rita Cosby Show, Bruce Springsteen, he has a new song out, and it's a tribute to Alex Pretti and also Renee Good, the two individuals who lost their lives in Minnesota. By the way, earlier today, we were talking with Mark Ross, who is head of the police union in St. Paul. And he said the commonality between Renee Good and Alex Pretti is that they both had armed and dangerous, essentially. He was saying Renee Good in a big vehicle that's about to run over a law enforcement officer, he says, that's dangerous and deadly. And then what about also Alex Pretti, who had a gun and 2 loaded cartridges? But listen to the boss. Bruce Springsteen's got a new song.
Through the winter's ice and cold, down Nicollet Avenue, a city of flame fought fire and ice neath an occupier's boots. King Trump's private army from the DHS, guns belted to their coats, came to Minneapolis to enforce the law, or so their story goes. Against smoke and rubber bullets in the dawn's early light, citizens stood for justice, their voices ringing through the night. And there were bloody footprints where mercy should have stood, and 2 dead left to die on snow-filled streets, Alex Pretti and Renee Good. Oh, Minneapolis, I hear your voice singing through the bloody mist.
And I love Bruce Springsteen's music. Bruce, what the heck are you talking about? What the heck are you talking about? King Trump, occupiers' boots. We're going to stand strong in this land. I don't even know what to say, you guys. I love Bruce Springsteen. Stick to music. Stick to entertainment. He has become so political. And for him to say the occupiers' boots, this is ICE who is protecting us and law enforcement. What Kool-Aid are you drinking, Bruce Springsteen? 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Danny in Tennessee. Danny, please bring some good Southern logic. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. I hope I have time to complete my thought. I'll be as brief as I can.
Sure, go ahead, please.
I would like to, maybe we get some common ground on this between what everybody's thinking. If you look at, like, with a car accident, whether it's a fatal car accident or not, the insurance companies have figured out a way to say, okay, this person was so much percent at fault and this person was so much percent at fault. You know, and it could be that, and we also, with insurance companies, you figure out people assume a certain amount of risk. So if you're going to interfere with law enforcement activities, you're assuming a certain more amount of risk, whether you agree with the activity or not. However, the man that's stepping into that, now possibly the officer involved escalated to deadly force too quick. We got to understand it's a split-second decision, and it's a high-tense. The whole nation's looking at this, so it's high-intensity, high-stress situation. Maybe he escalated too quickly at it. But if we could assign this same rationale to this situation, possibly the man that interfered with law enforcement maybe is determined 80% at fault or 50% at fault, and the officer involved is 10 or 20% at fault or something that.
Okay, so if you, right, that's an interesting point, Danny. Actually, I hear where you're going. It's an interesting point. But hold on one second. Your point is what? Like, just to put who, if the playing field is that, is there some sort of repercussion as a result that you think should happen on the 20% or a message about the 80%?
Well, nobody's right or wrong. And I think, yeah, I mean, instead of saying, okay, say one side says, okay, we're totally right. He shot him. He murdered him. Well, hold on a minute now. He's 20% at fault. Okay. So take 20% of the murder charge, whatever that might be, if you apply this logic to it, and he gets he can't be a law enforcement officer anymore. And by the way,
Danny, if it's determined that he acted, improperly, and that's what an investigation does, which is why I say do an investigation. You have no problem with an investigation, and I don't think anybody should be.
Not at all. I'm just posing an idea maybe that we could all agree upon to address this with, instead of hating on each other and saying one side's right and one side's wrong.
No, I agree.
Back and forth.
I agree. The problem is, Danny, that I hear a lot of people saying, well, maybe the officer should have done this. On the other hand, in that moment, you don't know what if Pretti was grabbing for a gun, or it very well could have ended differently with some dead officers. You don't know. I mean, we don't know all the I don't know if that happened. We don't know. But on the flip side, you hear a lot of people like Bruce Springsteen, as you just heard, and some others. And certainly people are coming out on the Democratic political side. There are a number of folks on Capitol Hill who have said it's murder. Like they don't even like mince words. They're like, ICE is murdering people in cold blood. Or how about Tim Walz saying it's like Anne Frank hiding in the attic. ICE is looking for children to snatch off the streets and in the attics. I mean, this is like, the problem is I don't see that Democratic side even agreeing that 80%. They seem to think that Alex Pretti was, a walking angel who just happened to be passing by. And I think they need to be realistic of some of the scenario. And I think that's why this video tonight that just came out, that's Blockbuster. Have you seen the video yet, Danny?
No, ma'am, I'm not. I'm actually in the middle of an ice storm. I got barely any power, so I don't have power.
Oh my God! Well, Danny, you gotta stay warm, my friend, because where exactly? Where are you in Tennessee? What part?
I'm in one of the counties that got hit the hardest, so there's no power, no water, no nothing, and it's all right. It's all good.
Well, Danny, I'm glad that you're calling into the show. I'm glad that I can keep you. I hope my heated discussion gets you warm tonight.
Got to keep the mind occupied. But here's the thing. Okay, let me make another point to something for food for thought for both sides. Let's say that someone is sentenced to death and he's going to be shot to death by a firing squad, okay? Just let's say that's what happens. And I don't agree with that decision. So right when they're going to do the firing squad thing, I run in front of the person and I get shot. Now, is everybody on that firing squad guilty of murder? Let's think about things.
Yeah, no. That's a great analogy.
Let's do some thinking here and figure out who's at fault, who did what, and who was overstepping their bounds. Let's think about this a little bit. I think some people are overreacting and getting too emotional and getting caught up in things and not thinking about stuff, or just, they need a cause without thought or something.
Yeah, or they're young and reckless. But, Danny, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I think your point is spot on. I really do. I think it's really powerful. And I like that you're trying to add some logic and fairness and common sense to it all, because you're right. Mistakes get made by a lot of people at a lot of times. But it is very hard when people are so dug in on both sides, like you said. And just let the facts go where they are. Whatever the truth is, that's what needs to be, light shown on. That is the key. Danny, first of all, I'm so glad that we're keeping you warm and entertained tonight, and also hopefully informed too. And I also hope that you get your power back on soon. Please stay warm and stay safe. Most importantly, so many people around the country are just really dealing with catastrophe. And in New England, boy, it is freezing. I have friends all over the country. They are so cold. But I hope that you get better soon. I hope things get back up and running soon. And you got to call us again anytime, Danny. You are terrific. It's really wonderful to hear from you. And again, please stay safe. Let's go to Jorge in New Jersey, line 5. Jorge, your thoughts tonight.
Hi, Rita. You're the best. I'm a second-time caller.
Oh, thank you, Jorge. Thank you.
I'm from Kearney. And, you're right. I got rid of Bruce Springsteen's records. I threw them out. But anyway,
now, why did you throw them out?
I don't care for him no more.
Was it before his song or after this latest song?
After. He shouldn't get involved in politics. He shouldn't do that. He should stay with the music. I played in a band myself. I played guitar.
Oh, awesome!
And I'm 71 now. But I'm retired now. And you're right about law enforcement. That guy was a bad apple. He shouldn't have brought a weapon, And I'll tell you an old story. I was like 8 years old in Jersey City, and this lady was watching me. My mom was in the hospital. She was sick, and I had shoes that had holes in them. This was 1964, and a police officer was on the corner in Jersey City. I used to go to St. John's Catholic School. He seen my shoes that I had holes in them, and he brought the lady to the side that was watching me. He said, "Listen, come here. I want him, he better have a new pair of shoes by tomorrow. If he don't," he was just scared. He said, "I'll have to arrest you," Yeah. And he gave her money. He gave her money to buy me shoes.
How beautiful.
All law enforcement ain't bad. All law enforcement ain't bad. You might have a couple of bad apples, but you respect law enforcement. I don't know what happened to this world, Rita.
I agree. By the way, Jorge, I 100% agree. I grew up where you would deeply appreciate law enforcement. And, when I looked at this new video tonight, Jorge, of this guy spitting and screaming at agents, it was 11 days before the tragic death of this guy. And this guy looks like totally out of control, like an out of control lunatic screaming at him. Again, let's see what the body camera footage shows. But it doesn't look like he was acquiescing on, the 24th either, when they told him to please stand down. Who knows what he was saying and what he was doing on the ground? That's why I think that body cam footage is going to be important. Testimony of agents, other people, but the body cam footage, because you see them all surrounded. And I've covered many police cases, you guys, through the years, where a lot of times, what you see from the outside, sort of the bystander footage, if you will, is a lot different than what you see with the bird's eye view of a body cam footage. Because you're impaired, you're sort of peeking through moments. You can't see his hands. I can't. I was looking to see what's his hands doing. What are they thinking? Where could his hands be close to? They're hearing gun. Now this guy is completely out of control. He clearly has a track record of being at least out of control. So there's a lot of things here that are at play, and it certainly goes to the character of this individual. Now, his family is coming out and saying nothing justified the shooting, on the 24th. They're saying that, he wasn't a violent guy. He wasn't a this. He wasn't a that. But if you look at the new footage coming out, they are confirming it's him. That doesn't look like a guy under control. And here's the statement from the family. It just came out. It said that anything that happened a full week before could not have possibly justified Alex's killing at the hands of ICE on January 24th. So, I mean, they're not denying, and apparently they have confirmed with the BBC who put out the footage that it is him, but yet they're trying to make it sound like, it still doesn't justify. It's an interesting case. Let's see where this goes, guys. Boy. Let's go to Alice in Ohio, line 1. Go ahead, Alice.
Hi, Rita. Thanks for taking my call. Governor Mike DeWine, governor of Ohio, announced today that ICE is coming to Ohio next week. So that's a broad 7 days. And he is not making any comments about for or against. He did ask that people not bring a firearm to cooperate with with law enforcement at all levels. To
cooperate, right?
Yes.
Now, let me ask you, why did he announce that it's coming? That's interesting.
I find it interesting, too. But he didn't have a date. He didn't say where. However, the second largest Somali population is in Ohio and centered in Columbus.
Yep.
So I'm assuming that they will come there. But his office has been kind of, lukewarm when they were he was first approached.
Yes, it has been. I agree. Yeah. He's been flipping and flopping. Yep.
Yes. And people are disgusted. I belong to the Buckeye State Sheriff's Association. They made a comment that they're not happy with his attitude, and I don't blame them.
So
let me
ask you, do you think he's trying to prepare them? Do you think or do you what do you think is the intention of him announcing that now?
I think it was positive, although he's not leaning one way or the other. I'm used to listening to people's tone of voice and watching, and any way I can observe, either listening or being there. And I think he wanted to prepare people, but he did not say where they're coming. We did not give the what city they're coming to. I know there's some in southwestern Ohio where I live near Cincinnati.
Well, that's big news. By the way, Alice, thank you for sharing that, too. That's big news that Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, Republican, has announced that ICE will be coming to Ohio soon. Keep us posted. Alice, will you promise to keep calling back and let us know as soon as you hear more on that? Very interesting and breaking news here on the show, sharing that. It's important and it's interesting that he's doing that. Maybe, again, he's trying to prepare people and tell them it's not going to be like Minneapolis. Who knows? Alice, thank you very, very much. And everybody, we're going to continue calls after the break. 1-800-848-9222. But first, support our heroes.
The Rita Cosby Show presents Support Our Heroes.
And this is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Support Our Heroes segment with a powerful story from Jeanette, Pennsylvania, where Joseph Folio, a World War II veteran who fought in the Battle of the Bulge, and dedicated his life to service, sacrifice, and educating future generations, has died at the age of 103. After surviving the Battle of the Bulge, Folio received the French Legion of Honor, France's highest and most prestigious decoration, and his war stories are preserved in the Library of Congress in Washington. His daughter said he loved to educate. He thought it was very important that every generation knows what they went through in World War II so we could be free today. A great American hero, Joseph Folio, dead at the age of 103. And what an extraordinary life of heroism, and how beautiful that his legacy will certainly live on. And everybody, support America's military and first responder heroes. Donate just $11 a month to make such a big, big difference in the families' lives and their lives. It is so important to honor America's finest. And the best way to do it is go to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Be sure to check them out. They are the best. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation at T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
New CBS Sunday.
The Grammys, baby!
History will be made. Live, unfiltered, unexpected. Woo! Bigger than ever. I was a ghost. Bigger stars, bigger performances. Music's biggest night is getting bigger.
Now you see what all the hype is about.
Trevor Noah hosts the Grammy Awards live.
Anything is possible.
CBS Sunday and streaming on Paramount Plus.
It's the Rita Cosby Show.
And tonight, a stunning new footage coming out, and the family's confirming that indeed the footage from the BBC is their son, Alex Pretti, but they're saying nothing justifies what happened 11 days later. Again, I encourage all of you to look at that footage on the 13th of January. It's pretty dramatic. You see Alex Pretti, who is an ICU nurse, obviously has a very noble profession, helping veterans, but yet he is completely unhinged and out of control, in my opinion, when you see him there on the 13th. He's screaming at ICE. He is spitting at agents. He's kicking out the taillights twice. It takes a lot of force to be able to do that. And he is incredibly aggressive with them. They, of course, stop the vehicle. They get out. They put him to the ground. They cuff him. It looks like obviously no arrest. But this guy clearly has had a lot of run-ins, and he looks like he's looking for trouble with law enforcement. At least he was on the 13th. We'll find out more details of what happened on the 24th. That is for sure. Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.